So, we are live now. Pricing strategy, a fundamental element of a startup's overall business strategy. It impacts revenue, profitability, competitiveness, and the ability to attract investors and consumers. Therefore, startup must be carefully consider and continually refine their pricing strategies to maximize their chances of success in a competitive market. A very good evening, one and all, and I'm Devanshi Sharma, your host and your dost. And on the behalf of the entire team of Sagar Smart City Limited and SPARK Incubation Center, I welcome you all to this very insightful and interesting session, specially designed for the startups of Sagar and SPARK Incubation Center. So, in our today's session, we'll go through about the pricing strategies and why it is needed. So, here we will get to know about pricing models, pricing strategies, and some case studies about pricing strategies. So, before we begin the session, let me quickly introduce our today's prominent guest, Dr. Kishore. Dr. Kishore is a corporate finance professional and an economist with over 25 years of experience. He is a rank holder in PhD, finance, MBA, MCOM, and LLM, and is a qualified company secretary. Presently, he is serving as director of Lodestar Strategic Private Limited and also at BEKEM Infra Projects Private Limited. Dr. Kishore delivered expert talks and case studies in various locations in India, Singapore, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Malaysia, South Korea, Japan, Indonesia, China, etc. So, welcome, Dr. Kishore, on
Thank
the
you.
behalf of SPARK Incubation Center and Sagar Smart City Limited. Over to you.
Thank you, Devanshi Sharma. It's nice to see an efficient leader like you heading this division and coordinating so efficiently. You are a good asset to the whole program and to Spark Smart. So, thank you for the good intro also. Now,
Thank you, sir.
dear startup founders, firstly, I congratulate you for being on board this nice program. And the topic of pricing strategy is no less important than any other good topics you would have already covered or you would cover in the days to come. If pricing is right, it begets you funding, it begets you success, and it also gives sustainability for the startup. And at the end of the pitch, at the end of your evaluation or the report or your presentation, the one boiling point what anyone would like to understand is how are you able to price? What is your pricing? How well does your pricing convert the venture, the startup, into a profitable one, into a long existing and sustainable one? And could it become a unicorn, sunicorn? All these questions would come only depending upon the pricing strategy. Therefore, with that brief intro on the topic, we'll proceed. The small disclaimer, this is the the charm what I found about Spark. Simple flyers and then explain everything in one shot. It explains what all Spark is doing. So I really found it very good, and then I chose to include it in the presentation. Then small disclaimer: I'm part of, as I told you, as Devanshi has mentioned, or as you would get to know, I'm part of Economic Times also. I'm part of various government bodies also, contributing to policy things. Simple disclaimer. Now we get to the core of our discussion. We have about 40-45 minutes. Therefore, we'll spend our time with a focus on the subject. Before we understand the pricing methodologies, pricing strategies, let us quickly have a look at the terms which are frequently used, popularly used across the world on pricing. One, average order volume. As we speak the full word of an acronym, it is self-explanatory. Average order volume. So we have 10 customers. What is the average order each of the customer places with us? Average revenue per user. Generally, this is for something like telecom, or let us say one of the SaaS products, etc. Customer acquisition cost, inbuilt cost, sometimes implicit, sometimes explicit, and whatever be the case, which cannot be ignored when it comes to the whole cost or unit economics of each of our customer is CAC. Then CHARS. CHARS is a word which is frequently used, but less less known to many of the startup entities. When you launch a very new product, innovative product, sometimes fancy, sometimes new, whatever be the case, it may not be very difficult to find some early customers who would like to test and understand what it is. It could be like a new movie. So most of us would love to watch, be it Ranbir Kapoor, Shah Rukh Khan, Deepika Padukone, or Disha Patni, whoever, on the first day show. In the first day show, if only the show is third day, fourth day, if for some reason we miss first, second days, we may not sustain interest to watch the movie at all. Which means you may not watch the movie at all if you have not watched in the first 2 days, or maybe first two shows. It depends. Those are these early adopters. Would early adopters become regular customers, mainstream customers? That depends on the strength of our product. So, whom do we need more is the mainstream customers. That doesn't mean early adopters are not important. They are important to create the buzz, to communicate the product into the market, to stand as brand ambassadors for the product, for the show, for the product, etc. And it is you who would give a bit of bite for local television channel or to our beautiful radio jockey explaining, I watched the movie and Disha Patni is beautiful, Ranbir Kapoor is amazing, and the drums are so nice, the music is absolutely good. It is these punch words what you use and the bites what you give in recommendation of the movie, the song, the action. The other viewers join the bandwagon and then watch the movie. Therefore, early adopters will be the brand ambassadors of the product, and they may also become mainstream customers if they are absolutely convinced about the product. Then comes many other customers who would join as mainstream customers fully, and if this kind of pattern exists, the startup would be for sure a big success. Then we also hear a lot of words like customer development cost. Sometimes when you launch a product, the customers may not understand what it is. So you offer free training sessions, free orientation sessions, and then it is the invite what gets publicized, promoted, telecast in media or print in the media, and you are invited to experience it. That is not an experience session, it is basically training session. Once you get trained, once you get oriented, you become a loyal customer, you get used to it, and if you think there is value in it for you, you would become a mainstream customer. That has a cost. The cost is customer development cost. In fact, to take the same analogy, why is this Spark as a program being launched? For you to get used to this, used to the venture, used to the entrepreneurship drive, and become a successful entrepreneur. And therefore, the benefits what you derive will leave indirect benefit to the state, to the economy also. That is the reason why this program is launched as an NGO not for profit initiative with the government support, with qualified professionals like Devan Sharma and few more on board, sparing a lot of time, investing a lot of time, and focusing and contributing to all the participants, all the members of the program. Same is the case, which is CDC. Then this you must be knowing the freemium. So 10 days you can listen songs freely. Thereafter you pay a bit of fee. 10 days you can use the CRP freely. Thereafter you pay a bit. So any product which is initially offered without cost on a trial basis, and should you find it good, then you pay for the subsequent period thereafter. That is freemium, which is a widely adopted pricing methodology in the market. Then another acronym or term what we should know is LTV, lifetime value of the customer. It is the higher lifetime value of the customer which adds to the profit or the success of an entity. How do you compute it? We'll discuss in the course of our discussion. Then pivot cost. Pivot cost is when you launch a product, it may meet with partial success and you'd like to change the product plan from one plan to another plan, and or pricing plan. Generally, you see this in telecom businesses. So they come out with a product plan and they get everyone on board, and they find that there is more value given to them than the price what they're able to make, or there is less value given to the customer than the pricing what they have put. Therefore, no one is coming on board, or those who join on board are slipping faster because they do not find value in this pricing scheme or the plan. Then you do a pivot, change from one to one. Freely you can upgrade from this to that, and you can shift from here to another, like that. This will have a cost, not only of operations but also of goodwill and the reliability on the venture. How smoothly you do this pivot involving lower costs is a challenge. Now let's get into the pricing significance. It may not come as a surprise to you if I tell you pricing decides the success of a startup. Not only startup, for any business for that matter. Pricing is mostly a judicious call. You would think I could price a product X, but you cannot do so unless you compare various other factors. What are those? We'll discuss when we discuss about a simple example and a case study. Pricing is dynamic. What you price now cannot stay put as a price forever, or for all through the product life cycle, or for all through the cycle or life of your business or of your customer's business. It needs to be changed depending upon the situations that are arising and in response to the dynamic changes happening in the industry. Skipped. Why is it skipping? Okay, fine. Pricing cannot be uniform for all customers. Of course, this we call as differentiated pricing. For some customers, you may have to price it X. For other customers, you may have to price Y. Same product could see different pricing depending upon the time zones, depending upon the customer category, depending upon the utility what the customers are getting. There is science involved in understanding these customers. So long as the variable cost is minimal, the incremental variable cost is marginally minimal or incrementally minimal, then you can differentiate the pricing in a way which will cater to many customers. Therefore, the absolute value what you derive, not in terms of percent but in terms of absolute value addition, it will be very huge. What we usually call as net present value accretion, NPV accretion, is this. And you build a customer base by right pricing. The moment your customer gets to know that they are misguided, I'm not using the word cheated, they're misguided with a different pricing, they lose the loyalty, or if there is an alternative available in the market, they may as well shift to that other product or solution. And customer satisfaction. See, when we say demand, there is demand. There is no demand unless the price at which demand exists is stated. Demand is at a price. If an apple is sold for, let us say, 10 rupees, there could be huge demand. If the same apple is sold at 25 rupees, which is its true price, is there a demand? If there is a demand even when it is sold at 25, that is true demand, because the price which is justified for a product and gives satisfaction to the customer is a sustainable price which decides what is the demand and what gives customer satisfaction. Similarly, sometimes you will have some strategies in your pricing. Some strategic pricing will address competition, which means you target the first of all, what is strategy? Strategy is a plan, but it's a plan called as strategy only if you keep the competition in mind. Otherwise, it is like any other plan. So a plan for competition is strategy. When you price strategically to target your competitors so that they cannot match your pricing, not in terms of lower pricing, but in terms of flexible pricing for each of the product, or for time of the product, category of the product, etc. What could not be done by others could be done by you successfully, and hold your customers loyal to you is strategic pricing. Of course, your pricing is attractive, you get a lot of operational partners. If a movie wants to partner with a text garment company, garment textile garment company, it will partner with a company which gels well with the movie. If the movie is a big budget movie, then the movie may partner with someone like Zara, H&M, Uniqlo, etc. If a movie is mid budget movie and is targeting targeting viewers of lower middle class or youth, then it may look at a brand which appeals to the youth, so that there will be a connect, which means the operational partners get attracted to a startup which has attractive pricing and collaborative pricing. Then pricing builds life for the business. This is the first thing what we spoke. Your business life is dependent upon the pricing of the product solution what you. There is no perfect pricing. Everything is dynamic pricing. It changes and it ought to change. Now, this is the crux. What are the popular pricing models used by startups or even by big businesses? First of all, what is a startup? Is not every new business a startup? Question to yourself, question to me, question to our host. No, it
Yeah.
is not. Every new business is not a startup. Why? A startup ought to build its business on a shoestring of capital, show its potential, disrupt the existing models, add value, and then mobilize the profits and the capital on, and then attract venture funding because of the risk and high reward returns it holds, then become a successful business. A new business started by one of the businessman's daughter or son is also a startup, but cannot be termed a startup in true sense, and more particularly in our startup jargon terminology sense. So you are startup founders because you are trying to disrupt, add value, started with your shoestring capital, and want to prove yourself, and then build upon the capital on, and attract venture capital, and then become a big unicorn in the days to come. That's your target. That is what makes you a startup than a new business. Now, the pricing models, as we spoke a while before, are these. Number one, competition based pricing. If I have to sell poha in Sagar City on the bun, on the pond bun, can I sell poha per plate for any price more than 20 rupees? No. Why no? There are few guys or many guys selling per plate poha on the bun for 20 rupees. If I go there and offer 25 as a pricing, no one would come. If I offer 15, I would be put to loss. Maybe I would be put to loss. So what I should do is take the benchmark pricing what is already existing, which is 20 in our example, and then try to see if I can do some tinkering to it. What is the tinkering? Can I increase the quality of per plate poha, keeping the price at 20, or keeping the quality as it is, matching quality? Can I reduce the price from 20 to 18? One of these two will disrupt the competition and will make you become one among the successful poha street vendors on the bun. That is what our target is. So pricing at all times ought to be competitive. You cannot be out of competition when it comes to pricing. You can be out of competition when it comes to business by virtue of your unique product, by virtue of unique solution or delivery model, whatever. But pricing cannot be in competitive at any point of time. Then therefore that's competition based pricing. Cost plus pricing. Sometimes when it is an assignment, when it is a project, when it is a unique or customized thing, you can price the delivery or the thing with a cost plus. I go to the matrix where these are explained, so it becomes easy. Okay, fine. You can also read, even if you are not exactly in wavelength with my talk, you can slightly go through up and down the points. Okay. So in cost plus model, you have already arrived at the cost. Then you told the customer very clearly, yes, this is the profit margin I am adding. When will this happen? When you are working on a product. For example, in one of my previous projects, I had to talk to a cement manufacturing company. I asked him the price. He said 320 rupees per bag. Then I told him, can you give me a 280? They were shocked. 280 and 320, you're talking about 40 rupees. Then I told him, sir, I did a bit of math on your company. I understood that the percent capacity utilization of your plant is 60. The peak was 80, and the order what I am placing will only consume 10% of the capacity utilization, which means by taking my order, there is no additional fixed cost for you, and the variable cost is far lower. Whatever comes to you is a bonus to you. Why do you miss the bonus? Then the executive director, the sales director, looked at his general manager. He said, let me work and come back, sir. So the next day there was a call. We went and he said, this math works well. We are in. We'll supply. But for me to have ego satisfaction, can you increase 2 rupees? I said, of course, sir. If your ego satisfies, paying 2 rupees more and having the assurance that you are doing this supply to us is good for me. So 2 rupees is fine. So when we could reduce so much from 320, 323 to 282, it was a big thing for us, which means when there is unutilized capacity, we can work on cost plus model also. It depends. Then freemium product, we discussed this a while before and all of your masters, because what we do generally is 30 days free. We are masters in utilizing that free 15 days 30 days period. Thereafter sign up as a new customer with a new mobile number, or sign up into different similar solution provider. We are masters, we don't need to tell how it operates. But then we have to be tactful enough when we project this as a solution, and we have to convey the message that it is not for someone who would join flip and go off. It is for you to join as a future customer, potential customer, enjoy the ride period, and build a roadmap for me that this product ought to undergo these many developments, improvements, changes to cater to your specific requirements. That period of research, of experience, of a dialogue between customer and us should be value adding for him and for us, for her, for us. That is how a freemium product should be presented. Then hourly pricing, if it is it is dependent upon the cost of our time. Time is the only cost. Then hourly pricing can be thought of. Then skimming, as you know, Apple iPhone. When Apple iPhone comes, it prices the highest. When a new movie comes, the first day 500 rupees, second day flat 100 rupees. It is the thrill and the excitement and the desire to watch the movie first day first show makes them pay 1000 rupees 500. Second day 500 rupees also, there may not be any takers, because third day you know that it comes in OTT. Such is skimming price. The first day highest price, as much as you could collect from the market. The initial phase of a product where you can skim and collect the highest price is the skimming price. It is still viable and suitable pricing strategy whenever you launch a new solution and tell them, sir, this product feature may last for this period. Thereafterwards, if it when it becomes mass product, we may add more features. Therefore, the first experience is the price. The initial experience is the price. It is justified, and then you would pay. Next, penetration price is building loyalty subtly, implicitly, and intelligently. So you it's an advanced version of freemium. Instead of giving it freely, because people come avail of the free period and go off, you'd like to understand how many are willing to pay some amount. It could be 10 rupees, it could be 100 rupees, but willing to pay and avail of the service. So here you would get to know that by pricing it lowest, you are able to get the potential customers data, and you make the new customers, new market, new geographies test a bit of your product. When they are satisfied, then you make the price in the usual course. So as you get to use to this product and understand it holds value, you don't mind later on to pay a bit more, because you have you have achieved the utility pattern and you are convinced that the price of the product can be increased for the value it is giving. But you enjoyed the period of low pricing, and it is justified. That is penetration pricing. And premium pricing is in a way like skimming, but it is not skimming. Skimming means the price what you fixed for the initial period cannot sustain, will not sustain. It either drops down, or the product itself will be off the shelf. So in the stable of solutions what you're offering, let us say there is one of the startup has come out with a beautiful model. What did they say? They said, sir, our app will study and will hold the health records of the families through this blockchain down the lane up to 10th, 20th generation. If they want to understand why a particular illness has come, they can go through and understand where it's stuck in their ancestors. And by knowing what all is a potential illness for the subsequent lenience. They can be cautious now itself, careful now, and take pre-medicine should there be a sign at the first instance itself. I found it very good. The blockchain, what became good word, bad word because of the cryptocurrencies, was used for a positive purpose. And they said the health records of all the generations are preserved. And through AI, it pops up and gives a report that you are of this age, this weight, these things, and you are prone to these illnesses because of your ancestral familial records. Now, this is not all. It also tracks your body exercise movements, dexterity, the food habits, and it draws the information and it tells you you are developing a fatty liver because you've been eating a lot of cheese, you are doing these things, it's like that. So that is building up. There is a person who is not developing any fatty liver in spite of taking a lot of food, and they tell you can enjoy your life as much as you can, indulge in cheese, because there is no fatty liver in your familial records and you are not prone to this. This is the valuation what that startup is doing. Imagine how much more valuable it is. And the film celebrities who are storing the what do you call, the baby thing, um, I forgot the embryos can understand if they were to preserve and then what period, all that stuff, depending upon this kind of information. So that is the valuation what it is. So these are premium products. It means skimming is something for the first movie for sure. Movie may not be playing in the second day. That product itself will not be on the shelf. Premium is you have some rare features, high-end features meant only for those who can afford the premium product. Regular product for everyone, some premium features for few who can afford, who would require, like a lounge in the airport, etc. Premium lounge, normal lounge, and of course we have the open airport to walk around and then see the beautiful girls and beautiful ambience and indulge ourselves in a samosa, tea, etc. But there are lounges, premium lounges. For those who require such kind of premium lounges, they are there. For us, we don't need. We can move around. Then value based pricing is the biggest or the most challenging pricing methodology of all. Why? We have to understand what is the value the customer is deriving. It's no easy. It's a very, very complex task. Customer may or may not be able to explain this. Sometimes customer may not be willing to explain this. He would like to take advantage of our ignorance and take the product at whatever price we would sell and add or derive huge value for his service. Or maybe he is not able to explain what's the value he is deriving. But if we can understand what is the value our solution is giving, for example, the same thing, our health records digitized, it pops up, it tracks on its own that you had lower platelets during summer season. Now is summer coming, be cautious about your platelets, drink more water, take a bit more fruit juice, or eat less oil, therefore your platelets will be in order. For example, this service is required for someone who is prone to lowering of platelets, not to someone who is healthy all the time. So the person who has this issue will be willing to pay 10 more rupees. The person who doesn't have this issue, this additional feature may not be value at all for him. So this kind of understanding the client and then pricing it is value based. Then project based, of course, it can be project based in any of the pricing also, but it can be a standalone also. He is not your customer. There is no benefit for him with you, but on a standalone basis, for one of his need, one of her need, he or she needs this solution or product. It is like a project. Now, for this product alone, you would create the complete solution and you justify whatever you are adding or doing because it's a project on its own which you have taken up only for himself. It's like a bespoke thing. It may not be useful for everyone else. Therefore, you justify the pricing and then you do it on the project. Most of the cases, like the project based, like the skimming, etc., could be known, even value based could be known to the client. Doesn't matter, so be it. So long as we are strategic enough and smart enough in pricing it, we'll be able to derive the value from that. Then a combination of one of these things also will make us price our solution, our product in a rightful way. It depends. As we discussed a while before, project based can be premium, normal. So you would tell them, sir, I understand you need a small nice video of your product showing alongside couple of the solutions from some movies, from some real incidents, from a jungle, etc. We can do that. But these things would be of lower quality, your video could be of a higher quality. Then the pricing is, let us say, 40,000. You want all with the same quality, then the pricing is 1 lakh rupees, which means you can mix couple of these things and then arrive at a right pricing model also for your business. Now let us go back and quickly see, when can we think of competition based pricing, when to charge this, and when to change from this. Firstly, it is suitable when the product is well known in the market, then you can adopt competition price. When do you need to change? When the product could be improvised further, new product is launched, the pricing from competition based ought to get lowered. Similarly, cost plus. When can you do this? Sales volume is known. Otherwise, the fixed costs cannot be absorbed. The contribution profit, what we speak, could be a faulty number. So only when the sales volume is known can you look at cost plus model. When should you change from it? Once the loyal customer is built, then you can say, sir, that cost plus model is no more working for us, so we made a shelf product with this pricing. It's more like MRP for everyone, of course, because you are a customer who have been with us and uh, patron for us, we offer you a special discount of XYZ. Freemium, of course, whenever we adopt or implement or introduce a new solution product, etc., there has to be freemium, because the moment you price a new feature which is unknown, yet to be tested, customers may not come on board. The once you offer it freely, they avail of it, then they understand, yes. So freemium ought to be there whenever you launch a new concept, new product, new solution, new feature, etc. But once the product attains popularity, then you don't need to give freemium. When you have mainstream customers who are willing to pay, why do you need freemium as a feature? Not required. Then hourly pricing, we understood that when time itself is a major cost, we have to adopt hourly pricing only. Then when time becomes immaterial, which means you don't need to do any time based thing, whether they use it for 1 hour or 24 hours, the cost for you is same. Then you can shift from hourly base to any other suitable pricing. Skimming, it is when a product will have short life, like a movie, 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 100 days, etc. Fast obsolescence. And once the costs are totally absorbed, the movie, it could be one of the uh, blockbuster movies. First day blockbuster, second day flap. Does it happen? Yes, it does. Because after the first day, amounts are all collected and no one is there to watch, it becomes flop on the second day, but overall it may be declared as a hit. So when the costs are fully recovered, and when the subsequent customers get fewer in number, there is no point in continuing the skimming. The altogether the product itself could be moved off. Then penetration. Penetration is when you are going into new market, new feature, new geography, new product, etc. You have to adopt penetration pricing only to give the taste to the new customer. Once you attain a leader with this story, like what Nirma did, beating the likes of HUL. When Hindustan Lever Limited thought, what could Nirma do? Nirma set a huge benchmark, and Surf Excel was given a run for the money from a small product by name Nirma. And Nirma came into the fore. Thereafter, Nirma did not give this penetration pricing. It also priced its product almost on par with Surf Excel, still remaining competitive. Then premium for new products, high value products where the high feature, additional feature can be strikingly seen. It is then people will be willing to pay the premium. But once the highly striking feature becomes a feature for everyone, initially color televisions were priced very high. Thereafter, after some point of time, there was no one who was producing black and white TVs. Then you can no longer command premium. You are like anyone else. Black and white TVs are shut. Only color televisions. Therefore, there is no premium on your product. It's like same everyone's product. Value based is when you can understand what is the utility to the customer, and we can convince the customer that you are deriving this benefit, therefore I'm charging you this on the value basis. But when the moment the value proposition changes, so he is no more deriving the value because it is known to him, and he is doing on his own, she is doing on his own, or she is comfortable with another product which is also giving the same benefit, then you have to shift out of value based. Project based, self explanatory. Whenever the project changes, you have to change. Combination, of course. Now, what can be the sustainable pricing? This is a question what we have to answer ourselves. It should be value based pricing. The pricing cannot be static, it needs to be changed. Then, unless there is differential pricing, the possibility of attracting various classes of customers who will have different abilities to pay and who will have different lookouts on the pricing of the product cannot be attracted and retained. Unless the pricing is easy and justified, you will not be able to have your customers on board. Generally, when you talk as a founder of your startup in dialogue with a customer, when you the moment you tell the price, their faces turn black. Until then, they enjoy the presentation and the promos what you show of their company product solution. They enjoy, they clap, and they sip their coffee very comfortably. But the moment you tell this is the pricing, then their faces turn black. If you explain which part of your whole thing is commanding more cost for you, what is giving them more value, and then add up, sum it up, and tell this is the price what I have to charge for these solutions, then they may not be very discomfortable in accepting or trying to understand why we have to price that price, why we have to fix that price. Then you need to keep Indian mentalities, not only Indians, anyone ought to tries to negotiate. So you may have to keep a bit of legroom for negotiation. You cannot tell fixed price, and those who put fixed price also come out with a discount later on. This is a part and parcel of human blood. So keep a bit of cushion in negotiation and tell it is a fixed price. I am not taking any discount or involving in any negotiations. But since you have asked, sir, I don't want to disregard my honorable client who would be my patron, whom I am looking at to be my patron. Therefore, I take a cut in my profit and reduce my profit from 42,000 to 38,000. Is that fine, sir? No, it should be 30,000 rupees. Okay, sir, let me do a quick math. You are doing math or you're thinking of your favorite popular hero, heroine, no one knows. But do a bit of math and come back and tell, fine, sir, let's work out this way. Not 30. 30 will incur huge loss for me. It is still loss for me, but can we look at 32,000? This kind of tax are very much required, whatever you are selling, whatever you're doing, because it's part of human blood and life. Then the pricing has to be comparable. Understand, market is very smart, customers are smarter than us. When you tell, sir, this is my product, has got these three features and the price is 30,000, he'll come back and say, fine, sell me only first part, I'll pay you 10,000 rupees. If you dissect the pricing and the product costs, it may incur loss for you. So be smart in explaining which product involves which cost when you're explaining, so that they will not show exhibit all of their smartness on us while they have to actually be supporting us. They should not exhibit their smartness on us. Then the pricing, whatever you do, should recover costs for you and leave a bit of profit for you, but should also explain that it is giving you a bit of profit after the cost is recovered. The customer, who is the buyer, should understand that you are recovering cost and having a bit of profit only on the cost recovery. That message has to be very sensitively communicated to him. Otherwise, understand, if the pricing itself leaves loss for you, you will no longer continue as a supplier or a service provider to your customers. So you ought to tell that there is some profit element which is keeping you, which will keep you alive, and you should fix it that way. And the pricing should facilitate growth of volumes and more number of customers should flow to you because the pricing is good. We know Uber, Ola, Zugnu. When I come to Indore, so our advocate said, I asked him, are you booking Ola or Uber to me for me? Then he said, no, I'm booking Zugnu. I never heard what is this Zugnu. He said it is very active in the middle central part of India, just wait, and he booked Zugnu. Meanwhile, my colleague tried to book Ola, Uber also. But the fastest one was Zugnu. And I was wondering, how come this one? And he told me, within Indore, Zugnu is giving a run for money to Ola and Uber, being a local player and having the customized service feature. So I was very happy taking that ride, and then the cost also was comparable. This is a case, one of the competitor to Ola and Uber, Cabby, operating only in Mumbai with all electric fleet. Youngsters who started this recently and taking huge risk on their career lines and then came. What is their USP? No surge cost. Anytime same flat pricing. No cancellation charges. You need to explain why you cancel. That's it. When there is no surge cost, when there is no difference in pricing, you would hardly cancel. They understood that. And there are no app charges. And there are small discounts if you are a repeat customer. That made them get a lot of repeat customers. And also at one point of time, Tata wanted to partner with them, give tough fight to Ola Uber, but someone advised Tata that why do you want to get into this and side with one entity and lose the customers in the names of various owner drivers or Uber Ola, which may purchase hundreds and thousands of your cars. Then they skip down, of course. So that is the simple case study for our understanding. Then, while we understood what can be a sustainable pricing journey, etc., let me tell you, let me take you back to the simple example what we discussed. If you are talking about a simple, silly example, one plate poha, we cannot price it lower than the existing price. We do not. At the same time, we cannot price it more than what it is prevailing with the comparable other sellers, but we can tweak. We discuss this. Keep the price same, increase a bit of more quality. Then, if in this space there can be only 10 poha vendors in the market on the bun, you will become 10th one. Whoever it is presently getting ranked as 10th will be out. Why? Because you are bringing more value onto the table. Why are we bothered about someone who is less efficient, less competitive, and going? We need not. We have to be into the business. And the beauty of startup business platform or the pattern is you can target number one or number 10. It is the benchmarking what you do. So if you are targeting number 10 in terms of price, quality, features, timely service, whatever, you are 10, 10 is 11 or 12 or out. Doesn't matter. You don't need to be the number one only. From 10, do you want to go to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Possible. You don't want to go any further. You want to be at 10, make your business and build your business model, make more profits. Possible. That is the beauty which can come only if you are right pricing person, right pricing startup. That's the beauty. Now, going back onto the same thing. In the Poha example, we want to disrupt the market. You want to price it 15 rupees. Fine. Now, if your variable cost of poha is 15 rupees, it is okay to price it at 15 because the balance is fixed cost. And the moment you build huge volumes, you can you can absorb the fixed cost and become profitable. But if your poha per plate cost itself is 16 rupees, incurring a loss of 1 rupee on every plate will never make you profitable because one plate is 1 rupee loss, 1,000 plates is 1,000 rupees loss. So the more the business, the more is loss for you, which can never become profitable. These are very, very sensitive points. Therefore, the right model is you price it at 17 rupees or 16 rupees or 15. The poha cost is 14. Only there is 1 rupee profit. But as you sell more number of poha plates, you make more profit in absolute terms. And until you are able to recover all of your fixed costs flatly, squarely, completely, you should not count on achieving achieving competitiveness in your variable costs. What does that mean? 14 rupees per plate poha as your cost. Can it come down further? Possible. When when can it come down? When you can cut down the supply chain and go directly to mid distributor, manufacturing dealer, or manufacture directly. Until then, you are procuring from local trader who is giving you credit, who is giving you timely service, reliable service, whom you can count on, whom you can see, who can see you, all those things. Because you don't have credibility to directly cut the supply chain. The moment you absorb all of your fixed costs and have the visibility in the market as a player of Poha, whatever, and then with your muzzle, you can go and discuss with someone who is above this local trader and ask him for a discount, commission, value, volume, and timely service. So until your all the fixed costs are fully absorbed, you should not think of cutting short the supply chain. Also, as a startup founder, do not come and tell Devanshi Sharma or Kishore or for that matter anyone that you are procuring all those things on your own and keeping and enjoying a margin of 15%. That's no business. Leave alone whether it is startup business or not, it's no business. Tell us, tell me and my sister that you are procuring everything from the local market, but there is something which you are making on your own, which is your solution, your product, which is your USP. And because of this product of yourself, clubbed, combined collectively with other products available very nearby, you are having a profit margin of 12-15%. This is a sustainable startup. Thereafter, you tell us back that you are cutting short the supply chains and increasing your profit margin from 15 to 25. That is the right strategy, but not initially that by doing everything you earn 15% profit margin. It's no business. It's not startup at all. You ought to have one USP. It could be one product, 10 products, one item, 10 items in a product, but there has to be USP which begets customers, which projects the product as a pricey product, valuable product, and other things coming around and assembly or collectively combined or packaged together is the product what you're offering at a price. This has to be a self check for all of you before you understand the actual pricing what you should put for your product or solution. Now, to summarize that as a story, so you understood one important point. Never should you give subsidy on the variable cost. Is it not possible at all? Possible. When is it possible? When you are someone like Metro, when you are the money, where you could talk to all the 3,000 manufacturers and tell them that these are the volumes what are moving from your store. Therefore, they have to oblige you and give you additional discount than what they're giving to the other retail stores. Until you achieve that muzzle, you ought to price it with a normal thing by collecting the price at the locally available thing. That I think is properly driven. If not, we can repeat sometime later. But for now, let me summarize. What can be a better pricing journey? One, you start with a freemium. So have few customers who can be your loyal customers who are first of all using. Convert them into mainstream users. Upgrade to cost plus. Then have less if you have less competition. Adopt skimming pricing initially. If you have less competition, not very less, adopt premium pricing. But if your product has high competition, lower your price. How low? Not lower than variable price. Not lower than variable price. Don't add any profit margin until you also become one of the players. And once you become one of the players with no profit, no loss, the break even, then look at cutting down the supply chains and achieve a bit of profit margin in the discount what you are getting from your huge scale procurements. And as you pass on, as you live, you would enter into a developing or mature market. Then you look at hourly pricing, and as your product becomes sunset product, which is also possible, like one of the past previous versions of phones, they come at a lower price once they lose the steam in the market. Computers, televisions, shoe, many of these things. So then look at a combined pricing or a lower pricing. So this is broadly the journey. Then this is your point what I spoke about, and we are okay to take a couple of questions should there be any. And my sister will
Thank you
take it
so
back from
much,
me, and she
Dr. Kishore. Nicely explained with Poha example. Like, it is very interesting and very understandable example you have taken. So we have couple of questions from our viewers. The very first question is that when should startup consider adjusting their pricing strategy?
okay. The moment there is no one answer, there are a few points. Point number one: the moment we sense that the pricing is not widely accepted by all the customers, we ought to change it. But do not consider the initial onboarded customers as fools. Respect them. Give them the privilege first. Tell them we are lowering the price or increasing the price, whatever. We have to increase the price because we are incurring more cost than what we thought. And to continue to render service to you, we are left with no other option than to increase it. So kindly support us. You are our patrons. And mind you, we are assigning highest value to your service and we are adding few more features which will justify the increase in the price also if it is increase case. Decrease case, we are very pleased that with your support we are established as a player and now our costs are slightly averaged. Therefore, we are reducing the pricing. And this reduction in the pricing starts with you, who is our special patron. Give them the privilege of having the information first and reduce it downwards. This is one of the case. Case number two, when the competition is fierce, when the competition is fierce, when the plug or the solution what you're offering is going in the market at 100, whereas your price is 150, you can no longer afford to sell it at 150 only. You have to reduce it to 100. But our previous rule should guide us. What is the previous rule? If this product incurs loss when you have to sell it at 100, we have to face the situation by suicidal effect of exiting from the product, because it may sound very bitter not to get out of the business and continuing the same product and selling it 100 will make your business shut, leaving everything else except losses. By closing on this product, if possible, you are minimizing the losses or abandoning the losses. If there are a bouquet of services, the best option is than lowering this price. Look at what the gas cutter, cooker, or garment guys do. Tie plus shirt is now 340. Earlier they were selling tie at 40, shirt at 300, or together at some prices they're not going. So they made a combo and try to sell it at a slightly lower price. Now the guy who is buying tie will find it lower because, oh, tie plus shirt coming at a lower price. The guy who was earlier buying shirt will think, okay, tie plus shirt coming at a lower price, both may tend to buy it, but in all you're not incurring loss. So this kind of combo strategy has to be adopted if possible. That is also not possible, then look at the possibility of lowering your costs, which is the genuine effort what we have to involve in. If we are not able to lower our costs and someone else is able to service, what is the reason? If it is only volume what makes other party, other competitor to be able to supply, then you sit with your investors or sit yourself with your partners, employees, and now take stock. Can we lower our price and increase volumes so that we'll still be profitable? And in absolute terms we make our profit, while in percent terms we may not be able to make the same profitability, but we are giving value to our customers. This is the essence of any business growth. As we grow in terms of percentage, the same profitability will not operate. Let me take a simple example. A banana vendor on the market, he invests 1,000 rupees in the business. In the morning he purchases bananas, by evening he will sell for 4,000, 3,000 profit in a day. If he thinks, if he wants to multiply this 3,000 into two carts, he the 1,000 rupees will become profit, that 3,000 profit will become 2,000. If he wants to expand pan India and start 10,000 carts, it will not work. So certain businesses will command higher premium, higher skimming price possibilities, higher pricing initially or at a smaller size. As we grow, the challenge is pricing. So we ought to change the price. We ought to change the price. It could be Hawkins pressure cooker, it could be Poha, it could be Reliance Smart mobile phone, or it could be a shirt. It could be anything. Pricing ought to change over a period of time. It's never static. How do we change is a strategy. Your question, of course, is itself is that. So we have to change in terms of competition, situation, our cost, etc. Pharma is the best example, of course.
Okay. We have one more question. One second. How can I have a food based startup? So, how can I effectively communicate the pricing to customer?
Food based, we have taken, I mean, ample time to explain the example. First, in the
Right.
first place, in the first place, What we have to understand is food is a product when not sold only as takeaway has got a different pricing. So long as it is takeaway, the pricing has less flexibility because it is only package sale. Unless the product has got the differentiation, you can't price it higher. But when it is priced in the restaurant, there you have enormous flexibility because it's the ambience sometimes which makes people to pay, and it's a way of serving sometimes which make the people to pay. So in some restaurants, as you would see, they tell 21 items, 51 items. There is no way that 51 items could be consumed by any person, be it Kumbhakarna or anyone also. But the feel that you are served 51 items will make you willing, will create the willingness to pay. Or a style of serving, the ambience what you create, those kind of things. And it gives me an opportunity to explain you many of the restaurants in Bali, Vietnam, even in Singapore also. Every time, even Dubai or Abu Dhabi, RAK, whenever I go, I see a new restaurant. But I see the same servers. When we ask them, they tell we made a small redo. What is that redo? Every 6 months, 9 months, they bring small changes to the structure. Small changes. Restaurant remaining same, small changes, and gives a different experience for you that you are different in a different ambience and enjoying it like that. So coming to food now, let me take another example. In the same thing, one of the guy, one of the startups in India, I'll not name, he's selling sugarless sweets, and he's asking his customers to upload to upload their diabetic report. And he says if you upload your diabetic report or share diabetic report, then this is the price. For those who are not diabetic and want to purchase this product for a feel or as a different product, my pricing is 120. For only those who are diabetic, I'm selling it for 120. By the way, they are targeted and meant and made only for the diabetic patients. Now he's sending them, I changed the recipe for you. I change the recipe for you. I increase the sugar content in the sweets I'm sending you because you can afford to take higher sugar content because of your diabetic level far lower. Don't get worried. I'm monitoring your thing. And he also sends message to someone on the other side that the sugar content is further lowered in your sweets. Don't find them bitter or less sweety, and don't abandon my product because I am conscious about your product. I want you to be a long-term customer, and after taking this for next 3 days, do not take any sweets. Look at this. It may not be able to be scaled up so big, but he's adding value. And so long as it serves him into 3 times his salary, into 4 times his salary, and establishes as a boutique startup with a scale up possibility to an extent, why not? It's giving him a lot of satisfaction, success, profitability. So these are the additional features what we can think of. And then yes, there is a flexibility possibility in changing the price. It ought to be changed, but at the same time, if time permits, I'll take another example. You go to a restaurant today, groundnuts, onion, potato, tomato, price changes. He can't sell that plate dosa, plate idli or poha tomorrow at 12 rupees. What was 10 yesterday? Just because today price increased. So the advice to all of our startups is don't think the contingency price is only a number, is only a name entry. No, the contingency for the price shock, the price averaging is the leverage pricing, is a real number, is a real item. We should always consider ups and downs and then capture it in the contingency and price it. If you are confident that this contingency will not arise, you can reduce the percent volume, but it ought to be there in your pricing statement, costing statement. Plus profit will be your price.
I'll take one last question as time permits. Uh, if my business is B2B, how much profit to be given to the vendor?
Yeah. If you are B2B, the first factor what plays a role is comparison, comparables. Please understand, market is smart, and like how we are smart, they're also smart, and they inquire with multiple players, and they would evaluate price versus quality. Therefore, first thing is, are we competitive in terms of price, in terms of quality is what we have to see. The moment price and quality are comparable from our solution, from our end with the market, now you play a smart strategy. What is a smart strategy? Engage with a dialogue and tell them we generally have stepped up, step down pricing strategy. So the moment you avail of our services for 3 months, 6 months, you earn credit points, which is a popular strategy used by everyone else. Credit points, these credit points can be monetized automatically. You don't need to tell me, you don't need to send a mail. I record on my own, my section, my department records them on our own, and from fourth month, your price will lower, will come down. How sweet. Definitely they'll be enthused to look at this kind of service. Of course, it's not a solution in the shelf. It depends to whom you're talking, what is their requirement, etc. And the pricing change, first the pricing charge has to be comparable, then the pricing has to be dynamic, and there has to be some change in the pricing. Three, the moment you observe that the volumes are increasing from your customer, you have to sit and understand, is there any threat in terms of pricing from competitors which could make the customer think of another supplier also. The test has to be on a daily basis. It's like our brushing teeth. Every day you have to brush your teeth. Same is the case there. If not every day, as frequently as possible, once in a month, once in a quarter, once in a year, etc. Depending upon the value, the frequency, the usage, etc. of the product. If we do not do that, for sure, you are bound to lose your customers to your competitors.
Okay. So we'll take that much of question as of now, as we are running out of time. So thank you so much to all our viewers. Thank you so much, Dr. Kishore, for this wonderful, wonderful session with beautiful examples, easy examples. So thank you so much on the behalf of Sagar Smart City Limited and Spark Incubation Center. Thank you to all our viewers once again. So, till we meet next, you all take good care of yourself and keep learning. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Best of luck to you, please.